So what do they call you?
You can call me, well, my family call me D. My name is Derek, and friends call me D Shot, whichever is good for you.
D-Shock, what are you incarcerated for and how long is your sentence?
I'm incarcerated for aiding and abetting a murder, and the sentence I was given was 46 to life.
Where are you from out here on the streets?
From South Side of Stockton.
And do you or did you belong to any type of gangs, groups, organizations?
Yeah, I did. I did. I was from a group called South Mob. It's in the South Side of Stockton, California.
First thing I want to go ahead and say, Derek, man, is thank you, thank you for your presence, thank you for blessing us with the peace of your mind. This is an open platform. However, this is your space, this is your video, this is your interview. You can say whatever you want. You can talk about whatever you want. I just want you to know that to feel free to say whatever you'd like.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Thank you. I appreciate you having me, man. It really means a lot to me.
Most definitely, man. So, before we get into this unfortunate case, somebody lost their life, and you picked up a life sentence. Obviously, this all started somewhere, somehow. So, can you enlighten us
Yeah.
a little bit about your upbringing, man? And what was your childhood like, man? Did you go through any traumatic experiences?
Oh yeah. I was born in Los Angeles, California, with two older brothers, and being the third child of a single parent, my mother thought it was best for her to get us out of Los Angeles to escape the gang first. But it was like, you know, just from one bad situation to another, and we grew up, tough. The South Side of Stockton was a tough neighborhood, and you had to be tough. And my mother, she, was from East LA, and she had the gang mentality, the hustler mentality, and it just kind of went from her to us, and that's the rules that we play by. Snitches get stitches, and you be tough and you make it however the best way you can. And that's what life was.
How did this involvement with the street gang come into play? Was it someone that you met? Was it you just growing up in that part of the neighborhood? How did this whole thing
Yeah,
come into play?
just growing up in the neighborhood. It started off is, these was the kids that you had to fight against when you seen them, who wanted your jacket or wanted your sneakers, and these were the kids that you fought against. And once they find out that that it's going to take a fight, that you just weren't going to give up your stuff, then they start to embrace you. And these are the same kids that you go to school with, and once run into other kids from a different side of town and they try to bully you or jump you, these are the guys who help you because they're from your neighborhood. They know you from, walking to the store or playing at the park. And it don't really start off as a gang thing. It just start off as kids, helping other kids in unfortunate situations, and we grow up and it becomes a gang thing. You really never know what it's about. It's just about, these are the kids I grew up with, so they're going to watch my back against some other kids that grew up in another part of town.
Would you be able to enlighten me a little about this gang and how it was started, how it was created, how it was formed, and basically what their agenda is?
Oh, well, my older homeboys, A Street Mob, they were the first generation. South Mob was the second generation. And it was just, people trying to make it, trying to get by, people that's in a bad situation just want to live the American dream, just want to be able to go to bed not hungry. Mothers and fathers in a bad situation, hustling to feed their kids. And that's what it was all about. Just everybody wanted part of the American dream. And for us in our neighborhood, it was the same thing. Unfortunately, we didn't have all the opportunities that a lot of people have, and we just took what opportunities we had and tried to make the best of it. And unfortunately, that landed us in prison a lot of times.
When did that transition happen? Was there a significant event, some type of tragedy, a homeboy getting shot, killed? What was it that transitioned to these minor conflicts turning into these neighborhood killings?
Well, like I said, I really don't know where it started. It was just a simple thing. Like I can remember, like in the seventh grade, I was I had a friend who sold drugs. He was my best friend, and he used to, you know, take care of me. Buy me things that I couldn't buy, and I used to ask him like, "Why are you selling drugs? Don't sell drugs. That's not cool," and stuff like that. And instead of me bringing him to the good side, he brought me to the bad side. Because it was money involved. And I'm 47 years old, and so people that my age, they remember when the Guess overalls came out, and the starter jackets, the long ones with the hoods, and those and the Jordans, like those was 100 plus for each item, and that's what the kids was wearing. And if you didn't have that, you wasn't cool. And my mother, she couldn't afford that, so that's when I started selling drugs, and that's when I started kind of running with the wrong crowd, and just all that comes together as one, selling drugs, running with the wrong crowd. So it wasn't like on TV how, it was a traumatic situation where, oh, a kid see his friend get killed and so now he's joining a gang or, nothing like that. Like these were just kids I grew up with. These are kids I grew up with, kids that, you learn to love and, look at like family, because they accepted you, they loved you, and, mom was gone all the time. Dad was a gang member in LA back and forth out of jail and prison, and so, you just, everybody wanted to feel like they belonged to something. Everybody wanted to feel important, and, and that's what that was about. It wasn't, about, going out terrorizing and nothing like that. It was just a small circle. A lot of us, our parents was gone or on drugs or, something like that. So we just like came together to support each other and look out for each other and just trying to live, man, just trying to survive. That's what it's all about, just trying to survive.
Can we go ahead and talk about your case, man? Obviously, man, there must have been a uh, a case of events
Oh
that
yeah.
took place, man. Leading up to this event that ultimately triggered you to do the ultimate, man, and that's try to go
Right.
and take someone's life, man. So, can you talk about, man,
Right.
those last few weeks, last few days leading up to this unfortunate event, and what was it that happened?
Right. Right. So watch this. So um I I was I was out on a stay. I had a dope case and I was out on stay. And while I was out on stay, I was supposed to be staying out of trouble, and doing the right thing because I had a 2 year sentence that I had to go do. Okay. And so I go to the store and I'm up there hanging out with a few friends. And then an older friend of mine, he came up to the store and he was crying. He was like kind of hysterical. And we all was like, "Hey, what's going on with you? Like, what's up, bro?" And he was like, "Man, somebody, I just rode through this other neighborhood over there called Conway." And he said, "Well, somebody shot at me, man, my little brother in the car, and somebody just shot at the car, And he was really trying to, get his life straight as well, because I haven't even seen him. I haven't seen him in a while. So, And when I did see him, he would always have his baby seat in the car. So, and with his family. So he was trying to, get out the street life as well. And some guys just shot at him, and so he asked me, he's like, "Hey man, come over here and ride with me, and so we can look for this other guy that he grew up with, in another neighborhood that had a lot of influence in that neighborhood, and he just wanted to go over there." So he can like tell this guy like, "Hey, tell them guys don't be shooting at my car because my mom drive his car, and his mom is a really sweet church lady. Like she loved all of us, and she was a really sweet church lady. And he tell me, he said, man, come right over here with me. And I didn't want to go with him, to be honest with you. I didn't want to go. He actually, like, I'm not going to say forced me because, he was older than me. So, he was like the older homie. Like, so I'm not going to say he forced.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
He pushed me a little bit to come with him, and I really didn't want to go because I had just dropped 5 on some weed. We was finna get smoked, and so you're not trying to leave, at that time, and I really didn't want to go. And he, come on, man, just please ride with me over here. My mom be driving this car, and when he threw his mom into it, like how could I say no, And so I get into the car, I go over there. Of course, I got a gun, and that was the natural. Everybody had guns from where I'm from. You just didn't move around without a gun, because not to go and do anything to nobody. It was just a bad neighborhood, and you didn't want anybody do anything to you, And so I had a gun, and he had a gun, and when we pulled up to where his friend lived, and there was a group of people standing out there, and I can remember.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
One guy darted behind a tree, so right then we both get nervous, and he grabbed his gun, and at the same time, a guy that he thought was his friend turned around and had a gun in his hand, and when he seen the guy with the gun in his hand, they both started shooting, and it was like everything went crazy, bro. Like it was gunshots everywhere. And it seemed like we got set up like they was waiting for us or something because people were shooting, it was bullet holes from the windshield at the front of the car, at the side of the car. And the people who got hit was shooting. There was gunshot shells from right there. So we was getting lit up from every side. And my co-defendant, he just happened to kill a guy, hit him 3 times in the head, the neck, and the back, I believe, and then hit another guy in his chest. And he survived, and one guy got killed. Okay, so and so it was like shooting came from everywhere. A guy got killed, another guy got hit. I got shot in the back, and I was drove to the hospital by my co-defendant. And it really was just me and him in the car, but the witnesses said that it was 4 people in the car. One friend of mine got acquitted, and the other one was never charged. And so I'm laying in the hospital with a hot bullet in my back, and in comes the guy who got shot in the head, and the one who passed away. And I didn't even know anybody got shot until they rolled him in the hospital right next to me, And I happened to gaze over, and it broke my heart because the guy who was laying there with the bullets in him was a friend of mine, And so yeah, that it was tough. It was tough, My friend ended up shooting another friend that we both know, and we both, had love for, because this neighborhood that we went to was, they was friends of our turf. Our turfs was friends. We was cool with each other, and it just happened to, somebody get into it with one person, and then it, breaks all out like that, but that don't mean that, we didn't like these people or we had something against, we still was friends with these people. So it was bad all the way around, bro. This is something that wasn't supposed to happen, and it never should have happened,
What proceeded to happen after that, man? Was there neighborhood conflict? Did this trigger into more deaths?
Oh, well, actually, so I got locked up right after that, and I think, it kind of slowed down after that, you know, because I guess people realize like, hey, this is serious out here, and when somebody dies, it, like how you said, it either go worse or it kind of slows down. In this case, it kind of slowed down, and I guess cooler heads prevailed, and it was just all bad, bro. Like it wasn't supposed to happen. It was just all bad, and I guess that really opened the eyes of a lot of my peers, to see you know um, me and my co-defendant, have to fight a murder case, and to see, a friend of all of us, die over some that was unnecessary, that wasn't even called for, you know. And I guess people seen that it was just a lose. It really was a lose-lose situation for everybody, you know, because my family suffered, his family suffered, the victim family suffered, everybody suffered, and for what? For what? It just wasn't okay, you know.
How did you get caught?
Well, when I
What
got
happened that
shot,
night?
okay, so when I got shot in the back, I got dropped off at the hospital, and they questioned me. They was asking me, hey, where did you get shot at? And I lied to them and told them I got shot on a whole other side of town. You know, trying to, avoid, all the trouble and all the stuff, because I felt like, like I just got caught up in somebody else's stuff, and I didn't want to be involved in it, And as a child, you know, um, you know, I was taught early, if you tell, you get slapped in the mouth. As a child, I can remember, my brother's outside cussing, and I run in and tell her, like, Mom, he's out there cussing, and she slapped me in the mouth and shut up, telling, go outside and play, So I was taught early on that, telling would get you in trouble, and plus, I had family to watch out for, like, and so they would tell me, yeah, we know you wasn't there. We know you didn't do it, but we need you to, tell on your co-defendant. We know who did it. We need your testimony. And they was trying to offer me immunity to tell on my co-defendant, and I wouldn't do it. And so the DA told me, well, yeah, we're going to ship you up the creek just like him, And I didn't think that they can do it, because I'm thinking, as long as I didn't do anything, I know I didn't shoot no gun, I didn't kill anybody, I didn't shoot anybody, then there was nothing they could do to me. But I was ignorant to the law, because at the time there was something they could do to me. Based on that I was there, and the way the DA can twist the story, it got me a life sentence, just like my co-defendant. And surprisingly, my co-defendant is out right now, and I'm still doing time for it. You know, and so yeah, it was just all bad, man. Like it's never worth it, and it was just bad, just from the beginning. Just it was a bad day, wrong place, wrong time, and I'm suffering for it. Families have to suffer, especially his family. Like my heart goes out to his family. Like my heart it breaks for his mother and his sister and his fiance. Because all these people, I knew his sisters and his fiance. I knew these people, and I had to, face them in court, you know. And so it was really shameful, and it was embarrassing, it was shameful, and it was hurtful, and it was just bad, bro. It wasn't nothing good about it. It was all bad, you know.
So what did you end up getting sentenced to, and how was this whole court thing, like?
Okay, so I was 18 at the time. I didn't know what was going on in the court. They using words that the average mind don't know. Like even a grown up, wouldn't know what was going on. And the DA, his job is supposed to chase justice, but the DA is chasing the win, you know, because the more he wins, the bigger he gets. So like I said, there was one guy who the star witness, which was the fiance, she pointed out, and he got acquitted. He wasn't even there, and I felt so bad for him. He wasn't even there. And so, and this is the same star witness who said that, I shot at least 20 or 30 rounds, you know, and I can remember, I didn't know at the time that they did a gunshot residue test on me, and I didn't remember that they done it till years later when I'm in my cell reading the transcripts. But the DA never even, got the results of the gunshot residue test, and nor did my public defender, you know. And the reason is that they didn't get it because they knew it would have went against their case. In their case is saying, the DA theory is that, I shot off 20 rounds and there's a bunch of shots coming from out the car. But reality, they found 5 shells outside the car in the street that came from my co-defendant, and they found 3 slugs in the guy who was deceased, and 1 slug in the guy who got shot and survived, and another slug that stuck in the house. So that was 5 shells and 5 slugs. So where is all my stuff at? Where is my shells, and why didn't they, bring up the gunshot residue test? And so, the justice system got a lot of work to, to get, fixed as well, And so California is doing a good job for us, working on it, but they're doing justice reform and sentencing reform when I think we need to, defund the public defender's office because they always have been getting a bad rap in my community, and and the judges and the DAs need to have something to hold them in check because they have nothing to hold them in check. Look at all the people who have been wrongly convicted, because the judges, just don't like you, or the DA is not chasing justice. He's just chasing the win because the more he wins, the bigger he gets. That's not right. That's not justice. And until we fix that, then the justice system will forever be flawed in my eyes. And then for the judge, he's supposed to be a mutual person. Once you get found guilty, he says, called you every bad name in the book and said that he wished you die in prison. So, I don't understand if he's supposed to be mutual. Like, how long have you been feeling like that, Judge? Did you just get that feeling after the jury said guilty, or did you feel like that through this whole trial? And so we got a lot of work to do in this justice system, and we definitely got a lot of work to do in the streets with these kids too, because I feel like they're being desensitized by the music because I see these kids come in here, and I hear the rap music, and I feel like an old man, because I remember when I was young, they used to say it about NWA. But now these kids, they talk about 30 rounds and, honey buns and all that stuff. I know what that means, but these kids know what that means. And these kids can tell you what bullet will fit in what gun, and they'll tell you how to break it up and break it back down, and the switches on the Glocks and all that, So these kids are being desensitized by the music and the popularity. They got something called the drill music, where it's all about killing somebody, walking somebody down, That's when you stand over them and shoot them or chase them while you shooting them, And this is what's cool to the kids. You know what I mean? But the kids need to see what it's like to tear a family apart. They need to be able to see these families that fall victim to gun violence. They need to see when these families have to make a decision to unplug that machine that's keeping their loved one alive. They need to see the autopsy when a doctor has to cut this victim open to search for the bullets and, crack his skull so he can weigh his heart and weigh his brain. These kids need to be witnesses to this so they really understand what it means to kill somebody, you know? And so, and they also need to see, have access to the courtroom so they can know what it's like when your so-called brother, when it gets too hot for him and he points a finger at you, just so he can get off and you can walk. These kids need to see that. These kids need to see the inside of a prison where you get 2 flushes, in 5 minutes or your toilet's going to cut off. These kids really need to see a lot of stuff that's going on so they can understand, how serious it is when they decide to pull that trigger and take a life, and because these rappers are talking about it, and 9 times out of 10, it's not something they're doing. It's just something they're talking about or something they heard about. Because if they was doing it, then they definitely wouldn't be rapping, and if they really doing it, they definitely wouldn't be putting it on wax unless they're stupid like that one kid that's, got a bunch of charges facing murder and RICO and all that. What's his name? Young Thug or whatever his name is. But the kids need to know that it's not real. It's all entertainment, because they're taking it way too serious and they're out there doing it. And my neighborhood is, oh my God, they just, every day you hear about somebody getting killed. And, we have to stop it. And it's people like you that's having a platform like this to help get the word out to stop it. And, we have to save our kids. We have to stand up and we have to do something about it because this can't go on any longer.
So where
You have 60 seconds remaining.
you want to go ahead and call me back?
Okay, yep, sure. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, check this out. It's 8:44. The tablet's going to cut off in 1 minute. So what do you want to do?
Do you have any last words of advice for anybody out there who's on that negative path?
Yeah. I definitely do. It's not cool, bro. It's not cool sitting in prison. The holidays, your loved ones, your kids.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
When that woman run off and she with your friend, like, it's just not cool, bro. You breaking up families, it's not cool. Don't do it. It's not cool. It's really not worth it. Every kid got a talent. Get your talent and figure out what it is and make the best of it.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for